What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today we have some science that we're going to do here at the bowling alley. But before we get started today, please subscribe to the channel and leave a like down below. All right, you might be asking yourself, why do I have this sitting here? This ramp is going to help me test something. What I'm looking to try to find out today is what ball surface creates the most carry down: plastic, urethane, or reactive. Okay, so here I am at the end of the bowling lane that I'm currently on. Now, if you're wondering exactly what carry down is, I'm going to go ahead and explain that for you. All right, so hopefully you can see here on video the reflection the light has on the oil on the lane. I'm going to step forward here. Right at about 41 feet, you should be able to see a clear definition of where the oil pattern here at Town and Country ends. So this is the standard house shot. You can kind of see the line of the oil right there. And if I use this light reflection and I kind of get down a little bit, as you can see, there is absolutely nothing past the end of the oil pattern except dry lane. Now, what is carry down? Carry down is what happens when you throw a ball down the lane. As it travels through the oil, it deposits that oil towards the pins, towards your break point area of the lane. Some ball surfaces create more carry down than others, however, and that's what we're here to test today. Now, as far as carry down is concerned, there are actually a couple different factors that go into whether or not a ball creates carry down. The first factor is the type of surface the ball has. In order for a ball to pick up oil, it has to be able to grip the lane. Think about like a snow tire in snow. If you have that snow tire in snow as it's going through the snow, it does pick up that snow as you go down. And if you've ever driven a vehicle in a winter condition and you're going from a very heavily snow-covered street onto a very lightly covered street that has no snow on it at all, just basic asphalt, you will see that your tires will track that snow onto that pavement as you travel. So a ball does the exact same thing. But obviously speaking, if you're traveling in a vehicle with a slick tire, something with not a lot of tread, that's not going to pick up as much snow as you travel through the snow. Obvious reasons, it's not going to give you very much traction, so it's very, very difficult for that type of tire to do that. In terms of bowling equipment, bowling balls that have a smoother finish to them or a harder surface are not going to pick up much more oil compared to something that's got a softer finish or a rougher finish like a urethane ball or even a reactive ball. The other aspect to talk about, however, is how much flare the ball creates. Okay, now let's talk about plastic. Plastic can definitely create carry down, but it is my belief that it doesn't create as much carry down as another ball surface like urethane or even reactive. And that's what we're going to test here today. So the reason I have the ramp out there is because I'm going to use the ramp to throw several shots with each type of bowling ball, and they're just going to roll straight down the lane. Now, technically speaking, the ball's core should create just a little bit of track flare, but I'm not actually going to be releasing the ball. Therefore, it should roll for the most part nice and straight down the lane. So what we're testing here is purely what ball surface picks up the most oil and deposits that down towards the pins. All right, so let's go ahead and get the ramp set up here. Now, what I'm going to attempt to do is put each bowling ball in 3 different areas on the lane here. So I'm going to start with my good old plastic spare ball. Now, as far as the balls are concerned, I prepared all the bowling equipment to the same amount of ball surface. So they're each at 3,000 grit. Okay, so I've completed a series of shots with the plastic ball. Obviously, you can only be so accurate with the ramp because the ramp moves around, but we do have a little bit of carry down at that 10 board area from the left side. I went down there and looked. So now we're going to move on to urethane. Okay guys, so we've thrown a series of shots with plastic, urethane, and reactive was the last one I threw. Now I tried to keep the shots in the same area of the lane, tried to keep the plastic ball 10 board from the left side of the lane down at the break point. I tried to keep the urethane ball somewhere in the middle, and then I tried to keep the reactive ball at 10 board from the right side of the lane at the break point. So now we're going to go take a look at the results. Okay, so just as before, we have the exact same lane. I'm sorry if you can't hear me, but the machines are running, so it's kind of loud. All right, so right there we go. So you can clearly see the end of the oil pattern right there. And if we get a little bit lower, you should be able to see streaks in the oil coming off the end of the pattern. And this is actually the zone where the plastic ball was leaving the lane. As you can see, that plastic created quite a bit of carry down. You can see those streaks actually go, if I was to back up a little bit here and then get back down, those streaks go all the way to the end of the lane to the point where the ball was falling in the gutter. Hopefully you guys can see that on video. All right, so now let's move to the area of the lane where the urethane ball was leaving the lane here, which was more in the middle. All right, see if we can get this on video here. So there's the middle of the oil pattern, or the end of the oil pattern at the 41 foot mark. And as you can see a few streaks, but they definitely do not continue all the way down the lane. They continue a lot less distance. And if we move over to the right, from obviously the other side of the lane, and take a look at the where the reactive ball was leaving the lane, I actually don't see a lot of carry down at all. I mean, there's a little bit, but not nearly as many streaks as was created by the plastic ball or the urethane ball for that matter. All right, guys, so I'll be the first to admit when I was wrong. At the beginning of the video, I totally thought that the urethane was going to create the most carry down, but I was proven wrong. Now, the majority of the bowling community definitely thinks that urethane creates carry down, which it does, don't get me wrong, but not the same way it used to. In the old days with urethane balls that didn't flare a ton, kind of like the plastic ball going down the lane, the carry down was much more of an issue than it used to be. But with these newer urethane balls, especially ones with really strong pores in them, they simply don't create carry down like they used to. Now, please keep in mind, the reason why the carry down is different between those three balls is because each ball is creating different amounts of flare. Now, obviously the ball wasn't revving very hard when I threw it down the lane with the ramp, but it did create a little bit of track flare on the ball. I could see that on the oil rings. And out of the three balls, the reactive ball actually flared the most. The urethane ball flared in the middle, and the plastic ball obviously did not create any flare because all it has is a pancake weight block and it's rolling dead straight. Now keep in mind, layouts are going to change these results drastically. For example, if I was to put a lower flaring layout on either the reactive ball or the urethane ball, that's going to change how much carry down that ball can create. And this is also true for balls that are quite a bit weaker on the urethane side. So, you know, some of these symmetrical cord urethane balls or lower flare urethane balls, those balls are going to create a lot more carry down. Will they create nearly as much as a plastic ball? I don't believe so. As you can see down there at the end of the lane, those oil streaks from that plastic ball went all the way to the gutter. So people out there who are using plastic as a spare ball, just keep in mind when you're on a pair of lanes in a tournament or during league night and those people are throwing plastic for their spare balls, those spare balls are creating a lot of carry down. And yes, over time, that is going to affect your ability to get good reaction on the lanes. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching the video today. Again, please subscribe to the channel, leave a like below, and I'll see you guys next time.